Did Joey McGuire leave Baylor with a chip on his shoulder? Yes and no. Yes, because he wanted the job and he was interviewed for the job and wanted the job at Baylor when they hired Dave Aranda. I remember I was actually in the H-E-B parking lot on 19th Street in Waco when I got a text from him and he said, let's go. And that meant from Joey McGuire that he was going to stay at Baylor. It was unknown if he would, and don't blame him. He stayed. He was a part of the team in 2020. And then, of course, about midway through the 2021 season, everything started the speculation with Texas Tech. He took the job and was gone. Does he have a chip on his shoulder? Hell yeah, he does. But he also, I thought, handled himself up until the time he left about as well as he can as far as behind the scenes and as a coach.
Yeah, I think he did too. I just hated the timing of it. I mean, I hated the timing of it given what happened with TCU right in that same ballpark. I mean, that was a horrific loss that was going on right at the same time he was, on his way out. And there was just kind of a low point there for a split second, and then he was gone, and they went on a run. and then they didn't stop and look back at all. And, I think that helped to heal any minor wounds there might have been from him leaving. And I think as time's gone on, you've understood why. I mean, I think the bigger ramifications just from his decision will be across college football. And I think we're seeing that already with the coaching carousels and how early those are opening up. And it'll be curious to see if any other candidates leave like he did to get a head start on where they are. Yeah, I mean, I think that was all kind of a part of the deal and understandable to an extent. And, Aranda certainly didn't seem all that fazed by it eventually, but initially he did. Initially he seemed pretty,
Dave Aranda?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it hurt him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
And so, that was kind of, a tough little, turn of events. And luckily for Baylor, like they woke up and they went on that run, like I said, and it worked out for everybody in the long run. But yeah, absolutely, Joey McGuire's got a chip on his shoulder simply because he wanted to be in the spot that Dave Aranda was in. He wanted to be the head coach at Baylor, and that's just facts. I mean, that's just 100% facts. Got his opportunity, and the thing is that opportunity's in the Big 12, and who just won the Big 12,
Yep.
and who does he know very well? So, like, I 1,000% believe that, Saturday night, blackout, Patrick Mahomes is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, like all of these things, that would be a big enough deal anyways. But I think also the fact that it's Baylor, and that's the reigning champ, and he knows what they're about, and he knows the fact that those schools are awfully similar as far as, their place in history and kind of like their opportunities that are there right now for them and the changing of the guard in the conference. I think this is an important game for a multitude of reasons, and absolutely he's got a chip on his shoulder. Because not only does he want to prove that he's the guy that he believes he is as a head coach, but also because Tech wants to take Baylor's spot.
Well, but
line.
he also wants to maybe say, hey, you got the wrong guy.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
I don't think it comes across as bitterness. I don't think it's bitterness. I just think
I think more the bitterness seems to be from some of the other staff that joined.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
I don't think
very much so. That's a different story.
I don't think Joe. Like, one thing I know about Joe McGuire is he's not a person who could be bitter. I don't think it's productive for a guy to be that enthusiastic and have bitterness.
It would almost be like watching, and I'm not trying to compare the two, but it would almost be the positivity of watching Scott Ruby get bitter.
Yeah, you can't be bitter, but it is, something to prove.
That would be depressing.
Yeah, but it is something to prove, right? So, yeah, it's like, okay, you skipped past me over, and maybe I wasn't ready, but I'm here to show you that 2 years later, I am ready.
Absolutely, I believe that's the case.
Yeah, anyone who's been has been overlooked for a job. Paul, you had it happen when I arrived in Waco. I remember I was getting up for a TV job in Tyler, and I was basically all but told it was mine for a new station because the general manager was the general manager of where I was, and we had a pretty good relationship. And then I got the call, and it broke my heart that they were going with somebody else. It hurt, and it probably is something that probably fueled me the rest of my career, and that was back like in 1986 or 1987.
I was really bitter. I was just pissed I wasn't going to get a raise. But, I mean, that didn't happen anyway the whole time I worked for that clown. So, I mean, I guess
you were lucky to be there.
I was very.
Hey, Cole put a couple